The storm outside howled like a wounded beast, slamming rain against the glass windows of the old warehouse at the edge of the city. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Men in black suits stood around a single chair, their faces cold, their hands ready on their guns. The only sound that broke the silence was the faint sobbing of a woman tied to the chair, her hair messy, her lip bleeding. Her name was Elena Carter, a struggling single mother who had made the mistake of delivering flowers to the wrong address, a place that wasn't on her delivery list. A place that happened to belong to the Valenti Syndicate, the most feared crime family in the city. And standing at the center of that room, watching her with dark, unreadable eyes, was Leon Valenti, the Mafia boss himself. "Who sent you?" he asked in a voice that was calm, yet sharp enough to cut through bone. Elena shook her head frantically. "No one. I'm just a florist. I didn't mean to." Before she could finish, the door creaked open. A small figure stepped into the room, shivering under a soaked jacket. Her shoes squished on the wet floor as she clutched a tiny backpack to her chest. "Mommy," she cried. Every gun in the room turned toward her. Leon's jaw tightened. "Who is she?" Elena's voice broke. "She's my daughter. Please, don't hurt her." The little girl, Lila, barely 6 years old, ran toward her mother. But one of Leon's men stepped in front of her. The girl froze, her tiny body trembling as tears filled her eyes. And then she said it. The words that made even the hardest men in the room hesitate. "Please, don't hurt my mom." Leon's world stopped. His breath caught in his throat as his gaze locked on the child's face. Her big, tearful brown eyes, the same color, the same depth, as his daughter's. His daughter, Sophia, who had died in a car crash 3 years ago. For a moment, the warehouse disappeared. He was back in that hospital corridor, clutching a blood-stained teddy bear, hearing the flatline echo through the sterile room. Leon blinked hard, snapping himself back. "Get her some water," he muttered, his voice oddly softer. The men looked at him, confused. "Boss." "I said get her water," Leon repeated sharply. Lila rushed to her mother, hugging her tightly. Elena's tears mixed with her daughter's as she whispered, "It's okay, baby. It's okay." Leon turned away, walking to his desk. His fingers drummed on the wooden surface as he tried to process what just happened. Something in that little girl had broken through the iron wall he had built around himself. "Check her story," he ordered his right-hand man, Marco. "If she's lying, I'll deal with it myself." Marco nodded and left. The silence that followed felt heavy. Elena kept whispering to her daughter, trying to comfort her despite her own fear. Leon finally turned back toward them. "You shouldn't have been here," he said, voice lower now. "This isn't a place for people like you. I told you, it was a mistake." 3 nights had passed since Elena and her daughter had been released from the terrifying encounter. The flower shop smelled of lavender and rain-soaked roses, but her hands still trembled every time the bell above the door chimed. She kept replaying that night in her mind, the cold eyes of the Mafia boss, the rain, and her daughter's trembling voice that somehow saved them. Lila, on the other hand, seemed to have forgotten the fear. Children had a strange way of healing quickly. She was back to drawing crayon flowers and stick figures, humming to herself as she sat behind the counter. Elena forced herself to smile whenever a customer entered. Life had to go on. Rent was due, bills were piling up, and she couldn't afford to lose her job. But someone else hadn't moved on. In a black limousine parked across the street, Leon Valenti watched the shop silently. His face was unreadable, but his eyes, those cold, dark eyes, were filled with something deeper now. Guilt. Regret. Confusion. He had ordered Marco to keep watch, to ensure they were safe. Yet, here he was himself, night after night, sitting in his car like a man who had lost something he didn't know he needed back. "Boss," Marco said from the driver's seat, "you've been coming here every evening. You sure this is a good idea?" Leon didn't answer at first. He just kept staring through the glass, watching Elena help a customer, watching little Lila wave at a passing cat outside the window. Finally, he said, "Do you believe in second chances, Marco?" Marco raised an eyebrow. "Not in our world." Leon gave a faint smile. "Neither did I. Until now." That evening, as the sky turned orange, Elena locked the shop door and took Lila's hand. The walk home was quiet. The streetlights flickered, and her boots splashed through shallow puddles. She didn't notice the car that followed slowly behind them. At the corner of the block, a group of men appeared, 3 of them, drunk and loud. "Hey sweetheart," one of them sneered, stepping in front of her. "You got some cash to spare?" Elena froze, holding Lila behind her. "Please, just let us pass." One of them grabbed her wrist. "Did you hear that, boys?" she said, "please." Before Elena could scream, tires screeched behind them. The black limousine stopped abruptly, and 4 men in suits stepped out, moving fast and silent. The drunk men didn't even have time to react. Within seconds, they were disarmed, pushed to the ground. Then, through the falling rain, Leon stepped out of the car. Elena's eyes widened in horror. Are you hurt?" Leon interrupted, his voice calm but firm. Elena shook her head, trembling. "No, but why are you here?" Leon glanced at the thugs on the ground. "Because the city is full of wolves. And sometimes," he said, looking directly at her, "you need a bigger wolf to keep you safe." The men scrambled away, terrified. Lila peeked from behind her mother, her small voice breaking the tension.